Hi, my name is Belina Johnson. I'm a NASM certified personal trainer and I work at North Carolina State University through the Wellness and Recreation Department. I've worked for about 2 years as a personal trainer and I work mainly with general fitness clients and beginners to the gym. This presentation is just going to be a little snippet of my presentation, The Art of Time Efficient Personal Trainer. We're going to work on how to get the most done in the least amount of time. And in the actual presentation, I will have some more activities and more audience participation. So why? As a beginner trainer, I felt very overwhelmed with everything I needed to accomplish in a short amount of time. I think there's a pressure to hit every aspect of fitness in an hour session, and that can be really hard to do, especially when you're new. And then NASM gives you like a template with like plyometrics and so many different parts, and it feels very it boxes you in, and so you're not able to be as creative with your time. And I think it's really important to remember that your book or your textbook or whatever taught you is just a guide. It's not the official rules. You don't have to follow it. I think a lot of us strive for perfection, and that's hard to do. And so we end up not getting a lot done. And time efficiency is really important because you have more time to work and you get better results with your clients. And that's good for you as well. All right, so here's a pyramid kind of outlining everything I will be talking about today. Time tracking is at the bottom. It's very, very important to keep track of your time and making sure you're not wasting it on things you might not need to. Second is the gym layout. How are you utilizing your space? Maybe decreasing transition time. Next is exercise selection. How can you incorporate movements that get more done in just one set? And last is intentional talking. What are you talking about with your clients, and how do you have more intentional cues? So the first is time tracking. I think one of the biggest mistakes a new trainer can make is not planning how long things should take beforehand. If you only plan on exercises, but you don't plan on how long things should take, you might have a lot left at the end, and you might feel very rushed at the end. For example, you might have too many warm-up exercises and you have less time for actual work. It's very easy to get carried away once you're writing them if you're not considering time. I think it's really important to utilize stopwatches and timers. It keeps you and your client on track. Ask yourself, how are you keeping track of your time? Is it heart rate? Is it a timer? I track a lot of my stuff by my heart rate, but that's really hard to do with a client. So I would suggest maybe when you're working out next, time track your own workout. See how long it takes you to do 4 compound movements, and kind of be more diligent without wasting any time. So the next thing is the gym layout. So when you're limiting your transition time, you have a lot more time to actually work out. What I like to do is pick one space in the gym and plan my entire workout around that one space, because you're not having to move or wait for machines. It's just a lot of work, especially at our gym. It's a very big gym. It could probably take you 10 minutes to walk from one end to the other. We don't have time for that in an hour session. So I like to stay in one place and really utilize all the equipment that I have around me. You can also bring equipment with you, like a foam roller, yoga mats, resistance bands, a jump rope. That's a great way to get some cardio in. I also avoid popular machines. You don't need to use them, use free weights, get creative with what you're doing with your clients. I also like to warm up at the squat rack instead of, warming up in one place and having to travel all the way to the squat rack. It's just, you're wasting a lot of time in that regard. All right, the next thing is exercise selection. So obviously I'm emphasizing compound movements. You should know by now that compound movements are very important, but I just wanted to reiterate it. It's also really important to get creative with the movements that like you don't need to have a certain machine to, target a certain muscle group. So I also love using supersets. Supersets are your friend. There are many, many different ways to do them. One of my favorite ways is doing like an agonist and then activation. For example, we're doing a squat. The client has a lot of knee valgus, their knees are turning in. Then we'll do some side stepping with the band to kind of activate those glutes while we're doing like that active rest. And it's keeping their heart rate up and they're just getting a lot more work done. And the last aspect I wanted to talk about is intentional talking. So there's two things that involve talking. You have cues and chatting. So this might sound counterintuitive, but you do want to keep your cues at a minimum because you don't want to overwhelm the client with directions. And concise cues can save you time in the long run. If you kind of tell your client everything you know about a squat when they're first doing it, they're going to feel super, super confused, super overwhelmed. They're not going to know what to do. Just a couple of things, see where it takes them. You can keep helping them improve. You will see your clients again. You don't need to tell them everything on day one. Take your time. They're going to take their time. Another thing that can waste a lot of time is chatting. It's important to build rapport with your clients and talk about, family and sports and whatever, but you do not want to spend as much time on that. It's important to redirect the conversations back to the workout. I like to use timers or start moving, kind of like setting up a squat rack or like putting away weight to kind of indicate to the client, hey, let's get a move on. Because there can be a lot of chatting that happens. All right, and thank you for listening to this presentation. That was just a little snippet of everything I had planned. And that is what I would like to present for the FitExpo 2024. Thank you.